everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 bringing to you another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. And we are coming hot on the heels of one of the biggest and most shocking fallouts from AEW, as it has been announced and confirmed by AEW boss Tony Khan that CM Punk has been fired by AEW with immediate effect due to a backstage altercation with Jack Perry during the All in London show at Wembley Stadium. Now, CM Punk, what can you really say about this guy? It seems like to me that wherever CM Punk goes, trouble. I don't know who's to blame, whether it's him or someone else, but wherever CM Punk goes, there's always controversy. And CM Punk has been gone away from AEW for quite a while. He made his return. He wanted to put the past behind him and start fresh, but that clearly didn't last long. Nothing ever does with this guy. And it seems like no matter how many chances you give CM Punk, he always seems to find a way to mess it up. Whether that's a case of he's a difficult guy to work with, or he's just completely stubborn and comes across as more of a spoilt brat. But what can you really say, really? But CM Punk has officially been fired from AEW, and here is a written statement by Tony Khan that reads as the following. Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with Cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interests of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. Wow. There you have it, guys. You heard it from the horse's mouth, from the man himself, Tony Khan. Doesn't get any plainer than that. And the first part of this statement reads, the termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW All in London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, that's pretty strong stuff, if you ask me. And it's, such a shame that it's come to this, really, because I truly thought that, CM Punk had changed and grown up, really, because after walking out of WWE in January 2014, following the Royal Rumble, he was pretty much finished with wrestling. He had no desire to get back in the ring. He had a brief stint in UFC where he got knocked out and seemed like he was done. And he made a triumphant return to the ring in AEW in August 2021. And he seemed like a brand new man. It was an emotional moment, having the Cult of Personality song playing, fans going nuts. It was so good to have him back. But, it's such a shame, really, because I really thought that CM Punk in AEW would have been a valuable asset to the company as they were trying to find their feet. But what can you really say, really? Some people just never change. It's a shame, really, because I actually like CM Punk. I think he's a very talented wrestler. He's had some incredible matches. He's put out some unbelievable work as a face and especially as a heel. CM Punk, as great as he is as a face, he's just an unbelievable heel. He speaks his mind. He's very outspoken. He's very entertaining. He's very fearless. And I like that in wrestlers, guys who are not afraid to speak their mind. But it seems like to me CM Punk is always blowing up his bridges, because for many years people have always said that Shawn Michaels was a difficult person to work with back in the 90s. But the difference between Shawn Michaels of the 90s and CM Punk is Shawn Michaels never walked out on WWE. He was never fired. Sure, he was a prick. Sure, he was a nightmare. But at the same time, he could be a team player when he wanted to be. And when push came to shove, he always was willing to do business most of the time. With CM Punk, on the other hand, I don't know really because he's been given many chances and he just seems to keep screwing them up. But it seems like this has been the final straw now. Everybody's had enough and they've shown CM Punk the door and handed him his papers, so to speak. So now that CM Punk is finished with AEW, he's been fired. Where does he go from here? Could he return to WWE perhaps? Not right now. I don't see him returning to WWE right now. You never know, never say never, but I think at this point, I think it's a best thing that CM Punk just stays away from wrestling, sorts himself out, and just figured out what is it he really wants. Does he really want to continue doing this? Because I know he's passionate. I know he was very passionate about wrestling. Whether he still is now or not, we'll just have to see, really. But it's such a shame that, all those years he was gone away, he returns as a hero. Things look very promising, and look what happens. But I don't know, really. I don't know what the future holds for CM Punk, but hopefully, you know, he can find himself and clear his head. But I don't know. Maybe he is truly finished with wrestling, or is it a case of wrestling is finished with him? Who knows? But we'll just have to see, really. But it's sad it's come to this, but it seems like all fingers of blame are ultimately pointing at CM Punk. He's made his bed, and I'm afraid he's got to lay in it. But like I said, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your thoughts on AEW firing CM Punk? Are you surprised? Are you not surprised? Where do you think he'll go from here? Do you think he could make a return to WWE? Or do you think he is well and truly finished with wrestling for good? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.